Ready.
I am as ready can be. Now I'm ready. 100% ready. I wanted to ask you a question, Doug. I wanted to ask you a question. It might be a little too deep for the intro, but it is what it is.
Why
Right?
we start with Israel and Palestine?
Yeah, that was.
Well, first one. So I
there's-
don't think it's as heavy as that.
There's nothing too deep. What is one thing that you wouldn't want to die without having experienced?
Sure. There's a lot of places I want to travel to. I think that's something that I really wanted. I want to explore the world.
Not to undermine or question that. I'm just interrogating it deeper, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like you've traveled. You can't see all the world.
Yeah, I know. I hear you. I
You're
thought
not
you
gonna-
wanted a
you're
deeper
not-
answer,
you're
but
not-
then I
you're
try
not-
to run
You're
from
not going
the.
to finish it.
I try to run from
It's
the
like
question,
girls.
and also give me more time to really think about it. Bro, I would honestly like to achieve not to have the thought that money is everything. So either to break out completely from the matrix and like live completely off the grid, or make it work for me in such a way that it becomes irrelevant. Because right now I think, and majority of South Africans and people around the world, we are like at the end of the month, it's an anxiety driven time of the month. So for me it would be to I hate using breaking out of the matrix, but it's such an apparent term. That's what I would like to accomplish. Yeah, you know what I mean. It's just yeah, that's a good question though, but that is what I would like. You could say success and business and all of that, but I want to go a little bit further than that.
Let me
Give me your one.
Yeah, let me give you an example. One that I thought of, right? To know that this person that you love loves you exactly the same way that you love them, and not to question that ever.
But that's also reliant on the other person.
Yeah, that's what
And
I
fun.
mean. It's two people coming together to create a moment that is irrefutable. I feel like I'm saying that because maybe it's because I was at a wedding and I was looking at these guys. I'm like, man, these ones were just supposed to end up together. There's nothing that anybody could have
But that's
done.
what you're seeing now. And relationships last a long time. So do you think they're going to keep that fire that you saw on their wedding day?
You know what? That's not the point. Because the question was one thing you want to have experienced. And in that moment, they achieved it. From my perspective.
I agree. Okay. I understand, not agree, yeah.
Yeah. So you don't agree?
No, I do agree. I do agree. I didn't get that like I would like to experience it every waking moment.
The thing is you can't, bro.
I feel like it is impossible.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
Because not only does someone else wake up in a different mood for real, you also wake up.
Yeah, 100%.
Fuck. You know?
It's also true. Relationships are fucking difficult.
Yeah, but I think like the difficulty of a relationship and achieving this, what I mentioned, is what makes it something to strive to achieve and to have, to taste, feel before you die. Because it's like a real connection with the real human being in a real way.
But not everybody also needs that connection from another human being. There's a lot of people that go around the world not needing that need.
This is why the question was directed to me.
Yeah, that's true. But for our general viewers, it doesn't matter if you don't find that.
Yeah.
You can be happy just by yourself. But I know myself, that would also be a goal that I would like to walk towards.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel like in any relationship I have had those moments where I felt absolute love from my partner, and I was giving them absolute
the
of my
same
love.
way. Did you taste it the same way you gave it? Like, wow, is this what it feels like to be loved by me? You know, when Jesus says, love your neighbor as much as you love yourself, that equation.
Maybe I wasn't being so aware back then, but I do feel there were stages where I was completely.
That's another thing, right? Is that you need the awareness of the moment, because like you'll look back and be like, yes, oh yeah, by the way, I might have felt that, but while it was happening, you didn't realize.
Exactly.
You know, which is another thing. It's part of what I'm saying. Is like even the awareness, because I might have, but I was caught up in some other shit. And I don't want to be caught up. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. I just don't want to.
But you'll find that.
Yeah.
I'm sure you have, though. I'm sure you have had those moments, but you weren't aware.
Yeah.
Because I'm sure at a lot of moments in your life with your partner, I don't want to mention it.
Isn't that sad, though? No, for sure. I've had those. But what I'm saying is like not questioning. Because we're always questioning. Well, I don't know about you.
Yeah, me too.
But I am.
Yeah.
You know, in fact, I'm sure you are. That's why that's why you're saving yourself until what? 47.
38.
You know, because you can it can be in front of you, right? And you just question it, like you know, and instead of embracing it.
Yeah.
You know, I'm sorry to our viewers. I am coming from a wedding. This is the shit that is on my mind. For those of you who don't know, you are tuned in to LoudSpoken. I go by the Uno, the dank dude, and this is my brother
Shan, the cannon man.
Yeah, and we do this LoudSpoken thing. It's been a while.
Yeah, we apologize.
I feel like we might need to smoke 4 blunts to catch up with ourselves where we should be.
Sure. And it's been crazy. Not only crazy times in the world, but for both of us. You've been on tour.
I've been on tour, dog.
Basically.
It's actually coming to an end. Tomorrow's the last day of the tour.
Yeah, how's that been, bro?
It's actually quite crazy, man. It's quite crazy. You know, it's crazy, dog. Like, just
Must be crazy.
It is. going on tour, like really pushing to sell tickets, trying to make money out of it. Figuring out the logistics, you know, it's crazy. There's no way someone can do that shit on their own.
No,
there is no way. Even team, you know, like I was listening to, who was it? It was Andrew Tate.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I agreed with him a lot this week, eh?
Is it? No, he's got some points.
Yeah, he does have some valid points.
He's got some points. You know, it's just I think his charisma is just a little offsetting.
I think he's very masculine, you know, and people throw toxic masculinity around. I don't think he's that toxic.
Yeah, I also don't think he's toxic masculine.
I just think he's like a proud man.
Yeah,
like a alpha male type of energy. I don't know. They don't even call it alpha male now. I know it's like they fucked that whole pyramid up. Yeah. They've given a whole pyramid. Alpha is somewhere like down in the on like.
So what's the top dude?
Some care, you know, this fucking woke motherfuckers. They changed it into like a 70. I could probably bring it up, but I don't even want to bring that topic up right now. But yeah, bro, I think times are tough. Dude, times are tough. And I saw on your last event, cheaper tickets. I think that's the way to go for events these days, dude. People are fucking struggling.
You know what I think? I think it's the way to go for rap events. You know, rap, bro, is so saturated in the market. You know, look at this room. There are probably 5 rappers in here right now. It's not even full.
It's the craziest thing at the moment because I go on sometimes, you know, the Instagram algorithm, if you're watching one of your homies who's rapping, and then the next time you go up your search, it's a lot of like more rap content. And you had him on your podcast, Mr. Mystery, Reese, who was a bartender dude, hockey dude. Like when he said he was a rapper, I was just like,
another one.
And then he played me some songs, and I was like, yo, this is a very unique.
He is quite unique.
Very unique song. And then I was like, bro, bro, so then I was the other day and I was just like looking at the average rap and I was like, bro, you guys don't fit the mark. Like, it's crazy. A lot of a lot of like.
So rap and quality rap in the market is oversaturated. There are too many rappers. Even quality rappers, there are too many.
They are, dude. Some of the chicks at what do we host?
Storytellers.
Storytellers. It's good.
It's been that long, huh?
It's been that long.
Yeah.
Storytellers, though. It's all of those people, if you covered your eyes, all of those people could have been on radio.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean?
Exactly. Like you, and or you could have paid a bit more to see them. It's just, rappers are a dime a dozen. Someone once told me that if you go to Nigeria and you throw a coin off of an 8-story building, you're bound to hit somebody with a master's degree. And it's like that with rap. We can walk out of here before we get to the corner.
I agree with you. I agree. Just the amount of people that are bumping into.
So it's not to say that the show and the content, the substance of the show is not valuable. It's just to say that, like, the genuine event goer can't distinguish where he's gonna get more value for his money, because it's the same fucking thing. It's happening here, it's happening down the road. And if you watch the trends of entertainment today, people seem to be more into like the real novel things, which is an ironic thing, because you can get away with doing a private rap show because it's novel. Yeah. But you have to do it right. You have to do it right. You cannot take for granted that people would, that 100 rand or 200 rand someone is going out with, they want to like get the most value out of that.
Yeah.
And yes, you're cool. Yes, you are cool.
Yeah.
But make it nice for me.
Yeah. I think the market's competitive, bro.
It's hella, bro. Hella.
Like you said now, I think you touched on it a few times, is you gotta be creative with what you're releasing.
What you're offering.
Because right now, you're not just competing with people like in your province, you're competing with people for downloads and stuff and getting a fan following.
Yeah.
Bro, it's national now, and it's also worldwide, where you really have to stand out and continue giving people stuff, because you'll also fall away. How many rappers were big in 2022 now
let's talk about podcasts.
Yeah, true. But we are doing this just for ourselves, though.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
Yeah.
I guess also a lot of people.
That's why we're grateful for every view, because it's just great that somebody cares enough to watch it. It's not about how many people are watching, But like,
it would be great if it does boom, but that's not the intention of it.
But why would that be great? What do you want to do with that? I think there's an interesting would you still share your opinion as clearly?
Because then it sparks debate in the comment section. And I when I go onto Facebook, when I go onto YouTube, and I'll watch a video that's slightly more discriminative or political driven or racial driven, my first thing I do is dive into the comments. Or opinion driven, like if you're watching any of the stuff on Facebook and it's politically driven or whatever it may be, the comment section is where
you get a feel of what the people really think.
Yeah, exactly. And bro, that's where the algorithm picks you up. That's why creating interesting content and then boosting it in a certain way, that's when you get like laughing faces, that pushes your content up.
So would you be, let's say we know now we got 100,000 viewers, and it's the Trump and the tariff chat coming up. Like, do you still stand with Trump even though he's throwing tariffs and there are 100,000 views?
Yeah, I would still say my opinion, but I'm not scared of somebody else hearing my opinion, because I have what I would say. I wouldn't, if you give me your opinion and it's totally against mine, cool, we're still homies. We're still going to do that. That's how I want everybody to view when I give an opinion. Also to correct my opinion. Not to say that some of my opinions are fucking 100%. They're probably also being formed, through other people's opinions.
These
which
days,
is very dangerous.
I find myself involved in a lot of arguments because of my opinion, and the arguments creep up on me. I didn't know I was in the argument, because to me I was just sharing my opinion. Now it's an argument. I'm like, man, do you realize that you're arguing with me over my opinion? And my mind is going to change tomorrow, or yours. Or yours could change tomorrow. And now we're looking at things on the same. Why are we getting so worked up over opinions? And why do we, that's the thing. Like, I was in an argument, and I wanted to tell you, but it took a while to record. I was in an argument over Trump, dog.
I've been in a lot.
And someone said to me, but it's different when you're black.
Yeah.
It's different when you're black.
Just imagine being a black American supporting Trump.
Yeah, imagine you sound like an Uncle Ruckus. But what's funny is that
that's from the Boondocks.
Yeah, it's from the Boondocks. Even Ye tweeted, he's like, yo, you guys, I was on Trump long before you guys, just talking about how much he understood the time that Trump was on, even back then.
Yeah. But I think there's
so I was in an argument, and I realized that as much as I like to stimulate conversation, I don't want to live with the weight of, oh my God, I shouldn't have said that. and it's not like I regret saying what I said, right? It's like now you are here making this a big issue.
Yeah,
because
but you can
we have
deviate the conversation quite quickly. You'll be like, you're right. I said that in the wrong context. I don't know.
Why does it sound like you haven't been in an argument recently?
I have, really. I have. But in a way,
people are not like that. Even you are not like that. Like
if I'm really passionate about it, then I'm going to continue arguing. But if I don't want to argue on the day, I'm going to deviate the conversation to a point where either I surrender and I admit I'm wrong, or I just was like, oh, I was misinformed about that, and then I'll step away, dude.
My cop out was well, yeah, okay, that's great. That's your opinion.
Yeah.
People don't
like that. They don't like that.
That's crazy because you are tripping on me for expressing my opinion, and then when I tell you that your opinion is your opinion, but now it's like so I'm saying all of that to say I don't even identify myself as someone who's pro-Trump. It's too provocative. It's too provocative. I'll walk into an argument. These days I just tell people that, look, me, I'm
a smarter tactic.
I'm not against Trump.
Yeah. Just say you like some of his policies, you don't like some of his policies.
I'm not against Trump. Guys, I'm not against Trump. You know what I'm saying? No, I'm not. I wanted to get that out of the way. I was like, only Shannon is gonna understand this.
No, I hear you, bro, and I think it's divided. Like we said in one of the episodes, it's divided a lot of households. Maybe not so much in SA, definitely in America, fuck. But, dude,
someone said to me, you're the only black person I know. No, my blood brother. He's like, you know how that looks as a black guy, right? And I was like, you know what he says? He's like, you need to understand Trump is a white supremacist and all of that, and the opportunity he gets to squash, your people like you, then it's wrong for someone of my skin color to support Trump. I was like, wow, that is crazy. It's crazy. I found that to be crazy.
But he hasn't done any racial policies besides the deportation of illegal immigrants.
I forgot which documentary I was watching, right? And this is what a lot of people don't understand about what I support about Trump. That guy is putting Americans first. Yeah. If every country had such a leader.
Yeah, exactly. I was watching a minister talk about it. He said he wishes he had Donald Trump in office because it's a president that takes action. That's what you want, action for your country. putting your country first.
Yeah,
which is what every leader should be doing.
And tariffs, bro, there are pros and cons.
Yeah.
You understand? There are pros and cons. Just like there's nothing that is definitely good when we do it. Just like there's nothing that is definitely bad. There's always a way that shit can work out.
He did bully the nations though, you know, with power and with threats, which is, if you look at it, it's like a little bit of a harsh tactic, but you know, he's getting now I'm sounding like a pro-Trump supporter. He's getting things done for his country. Some of it might not work, some of it may work.
Yeah.
But bro, which president's got it right?
Yeah.
Tell me.
Yeah.
Like, because it hasn't been going okay, except for now. I think it's the Argentinian president, the El Salvadorian president.
Yes,
I don't know what you've seen.
The one who finished all the gangs. Yeah. I was like, that's a man of action.
He called in all the heads of state and all of the ministers and sat down, said, okay, this guy on my right, he's national state security, he's going to audit every single one of you starting from today.
Doge vibes.
Yeah, like, do you have anything against that? He's going to check your bank statements. Bro, that's what we need in the country. Just imagine we had that. Okay, congratulations, we got some good news on LoudSpoken.
Yeah, that doesn't involve pets.
Yeah, no pets.
It's not to say we don't like pets.
Last night the DA won in court. No VAT increase. Huge win for SA. I'm a bit disappointed with Action SA because it didn't give them the chance to really shine and see where their lines lie. You know, I think it was a lacquer scapegoat, but well done to the DA. We don't vote for any. We vote for the Dacha party here on LoudSpoken.
Hey, speaking of which, dog, I actually saw a picture recently of myself, Stan, Jules, and Myrtle in 2019 on 420.
Oh, cool, a D-Day.
And I realized, god damn, 420 don't slap like it used to, man. And why is that?
I was so sad with Pretoria, bro. Not one party. There was a cool party at in Joburg, White Castle, but there was like one or two parties, bro, like that. Nothing special. All the clubs are competing, bro.
Yeah, that's the thing. That's the thing that is fucked up. What did they used to call it? The community.
Yeah, bro. No, the communities. Like I say, times are tough. People are competitive. Not even in just.
There's no more one love.
No, there's multiple love. Multiple loves.
Many love.
Bro, it's crazy. Hey, bro.
Yeah. No, it's nuts, man. But like on our side, as the culture, I was touched as well. You know, I was at a wedding on 420. You know, and that was my homie. He's a stoner, so we're definitely out there doing what needs to be done, while doing what needs to be done. You know, it was a successful wedding. He got the bride. You know, and you know, but I was like, even the culture, you know, we're not doing anything for 420, and like that touched me, man, because
but like it has been a tough time for culture.
It has been. It has been, you know, like
so it's understandable, and there's always next year, so make a mental note to make it a fucking good one next year.
Yeah. But we need to make the circle bigger, man.
Yeah.
420s deserve to be better than.
But it was also Easter Sunday. That makes it hard with people with families.
Yeah.
So I do get there was and the weather was shocking, bro. The weather wasn't great.
No, but 420 the weather was good.
Yeah, it didn't rain, that's true.
Yeah.
But we celebrated.
Nothing could have stopped that
300 people at this event. I think it was Takeover 420, something like that. Sorry, boys. I'm not remembering, but it was at White Castle. That I do remember. And it was very cool vibe. A lot of weed going around. But what I wanted to say, sorry, just because you talked about your opinion, sometimes, you know, we have a right to our opinion, but we also have the right to know why bringing up our own opinion can do to others. You know, and you must make a conscious effort whether to speak at this time and give your opinion or not. You know, like sometimes if you can see this guy's pro Trump,
but people are full of shit, dog.
Well,
people make you think that this is a safe space. You get what I'm saying?
I hear you.
people make you think it's a safe space. They don't know how to save space. So how can it be a safe space? And it's not a lot of people who are like that, because like I'm very open-minded on religion, right? But like you can't sit here with a Christian and say to them, yeah, look, I've got evidence that proves that Jesus was not born of a virgin. They'd be like, oh, how can you say that? And it's like, okay, fine, it's my opinion, but it's my opinion on what you believe.
Yeah.
You know? And people want to share their opinions, but like that barrier of like what is our beliefs, our morals, our ethics, the things that define us is very blurry. And sometimes you can overstep that unknowingly in a conversation with people, you know, and they respond, you know, with hostility, not because I'm trying to provoke them, but because my opinion overlaps on their beliefs.
So in that position, you knowing that you have those types of opinions and beliefs, going into a conversation with somebody that you don't know how it's going to react, you must also know that if you give this opinion to them, they might react in a certain way. And then you've got to be mindful enough on how you approach it next. You know, that's a reality we live in. It's not, we're not living in mine and your head where everybody's thinking on the same plane.
One of my traits, quality traits that I was taught at home by my beloved mother, she taught me diplomacy. What did she say? She said diplomacy is the ability to tell somebody to go to hell and make them look forward to the journey. That's what we're being taught at home, you know, and I'm good at that.
Yeah.
I'm good at that. I just don't always know when I need to tell somebody. You know, sometimes you're already on my neck with the time I realize it's time to tell you to go to hell.
Yeah.
You understand? I'm very articulate. I'm slow to anger. I feel like I'm somebody you want to disagree with.
Yeah.
Ideally, but I feel like the arguments just creep up, you know. Even like, bro, you're not an artist, right? Maybe you are. You don't want to tell us, but as far as
I'm a rapper.
You too? You know, it's like, dog. You know as well as I do that Spotify and all these streaming platforms are fucking the people up with the money. Right? That is...
Bro, isn't the Bernabeu gonna be Spotify Bernabeu?
What? Really?
Yeah, dude.
That is...
So they're making gang money if they can create a whole stadium.
But isn't Spotify Bernabeu a concept?
No, bro.
Because I did watch Perez's...
If they can pay Joe Rogan that money... My brother. What did they pay Joe Rogan? 200 million? To move over from YouTube?
That was 100.
100 million?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. 100 million. The fuck?
Yeah.
From data. And subscriptions, crazy.
Yeah.
When do you think Spotify was released?
So when I was still like really doing my research on the future of the music industry, this was 2009, 2010. Spotify was actually already popping up, but the DSP that was making the most noise at the time, which I thought was going to eventually lead the market, is Deezer.
Oh really? Yeah, I remember Deezer
back then, but Spotify eventually took over. So we can say 2009.
2006 was Spotify in Stockholm, Germany.
Yeah.
And look at them now, bro. Fucking they sponsor so many football teams, bro.
So what I think about the Spotify Bernabeu, they're dropping Santiago.
I think so, bro.
Wow, that's hectic.
Yeah, that's what I saw. I was popping up on.
So Spotify is diversifying its portfolio. What I see, it's like, okay, fine. We provide music. We don't make music. We supply it, right? Now what they're doing is that they're seeing shit, man. There's also money in performing. So they're saying, okay, fine, fuck, let's invest in a stadium, right? And then use our relationships with artists to leverage money off of ticket sales, sponsorship, all of that at
the
stadium that has our name, which is the home of the biggest football club in the world. Or the most expensive.
Man United. They're moving to Old Trafford.
Really? Man United.
You were just saying the biggest club in the world, huh?
One lucky defeat against Lyon. You're back on that.
European champ, boy. Oh, I pray to God.
Yeah, man. So it's like, I don't know, you know, Sony, dog. Sony is another fucking company in history, dog.
But they're huge, bro. Like they're not just, they don't have just one portfolio. They've got
Sony, right?
Yeah.
But if you check how they started, right? The guy was
yes, we've divulged from
the topic.
the topic, yeah.
Okay, now
I want to hear the Sony story.
Okay, yeah. Basically, it's just some guy who was an engineer. The company was going down, and he thought to himself, "Oh my God, what am I gonna do?" You know, typical entrepreneurial story. Like, oh my God, what am I gonna do? They say necessity is the mother of invention. So the guy came up with this business. He pushed it. It became a corporation, and then, you know, the team, part of the core business model of Sony is research, because that guy was an engineer. So they're always researching, diversifying things. You know, Sony owns the patent for the CD. The CD.
That's amazing.
Sony with Philips. They came up in their labs.
Fucking game, bro.
So think about
Just
that.
imagine how much time people had to put the pencil in, wind it back up.
But think about how many CDs, just raw CDs, were sold before they put the music on.
Yeah.
That's one thing that made Sony boom, because anybody who was making CDs was giving Sony a cut.
100%, yeah. With the patent,
and I think it's not just,
except for China.
It's not just music CDs. It's not just music. It's games.
Yeah. Every disc.
Right. Then they hit us with the PS2, best-selling console of all time.
Yeah.
This is Sony. So now they own the CDs, right? They're like, fuck. Why don't we start owning the music? That's how Sony as a record label started. You know what I'm saying?
That's amazing.
That's the game these people are playing.
And all from being shit scared that his company was going to close down to look at this, bro.
Yeah. But that's another question I want to ask you. Yeah, I'm glad I remembered. As a young business owner yourself, right? You told me, you disclosed that you own several businesses, some more legal than others. I'm kidding. But it's like, are you building your businesses to sell them? Or would you sell, let me phrase it, would you sell your business?
I think there's always a time and a place where you can make that decision. I always intend to build lifelong businesses that stand the test of times. But I also am a businessman that will take an opportunity to hit a fad or something like that, you know, cook while the iron's hot.
So if tomorrow fat cooks are hot,
yeah, I'll see if it's a viable business that I find interest in, and if it is, then sure, I'll shoot for it.
So is there a business of yours that you would never sell, or you would sell any of your businesses at the right price?
I don't think at the right price. I think at the right time, because you never know what's going to happen tomorrow, you know. So in that sense, you obviously build a relationship within the business, staff, clients, all of that. Sometimes your business isn't even client driven, but you have a passion for that project, and to give that up is sometimes more of a difficult choice. But it also allows you, once you do that, to focus on something else, and I think that is what I enjoy as an entrepreneur.
You know, the owner of Monster was a South African dude.
There's a lot of South African dudes that are fucking USA and South African.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy. He was a top lawyer, that dude, eh? Top lawyer.
Then he made the devil's drink.
At 40. And he's like, fuck that. I'm out. Divested.
Amazing.
Dipped. Went to LA.
I do love a Monster. I prefer it over Red Bull, to be fair.
Yes.
I love Red Bull's marketing.
This is
and
us
stuff.
Submitting.
Oh, sponsorship proposal.
Yeah, but Red Bull is another. Red Bull is a monster. Of marketing,
bro.
Those guys are.
Bro, they are crazy. I just watched this dude that jumped out from a height that was higher than commercial flights fly. And he broke the speed record, 550 kilometers. He was flying.
Excuse me.
That's crazy. And that's just like the types of stunts. And they just saw that people want to consume cool content. And they want to make that content super shareable. And now everybody's just seen that video 50 million times. Now Red Bull's imprinted into your brain. It's a brilliant marketing trick. Because every time you go out, a vodka Red Bull, they don't say vodka Monster. You know what I mean?
Nice.
Which is also delicious.
Yeah.
Because Monster has way better flavors than Red Bull.
Have you ever really tried good mixer. More Fire? Which is,
it just gives me a heartburn.
Do you know DJ Spoon?
I do, and I brew. If you see on every street corner, that was a very cool marketing campaign that he did for his product. I fucking was like that, but I just find like I don't want to call it cheaper, but like the standard energy drinks, even the Monster regular, gives me heavy heartburn. The green Monster, even the normal Red Bull sugar version, also heavy. Like sits weird for me. So I'm not really the biggest, except for Monster sugar free.
So you know the story of one thing that I admire about people like you, not white people, but I do. But I mean, people who studied marketing said that is the key, bro. Good marketing unlocks sales.
I also think having a good product is as important, but you can have good marketing and a shit product and still make a success.
I was about to say, I read a quote to that effect.
Yeah.
It's like people,
they might not even know that they want to have the product until a good marketing team comes with a clever hook or something that they just remember, and then you're walking down the aisle and then you buy it. I feel like
that is one of the greatest psychologies, because it's literally leading a cow to the slaughter, but you're not killing the cow.
Yeah. No.
You just.
I also feel that there's only a few brands that are still getting it right.
But if you think about, like, have you heard of Liquid Death?
You know who's got it right though right now? Jake Paul.
Jake Paul is a crazy motherfucker, dog.
Bro, like that I want to say I hate the guy, but I respect the guy.
Yeah.
But I hate some of the things he does and says, it's just like, bro, this is just for the content, and you've just made me angry.
Yeah.
I have a lot of those moments with Jake Paul.
Yeah.
But bro, the marketing that young man and his brother have done, bro, Logan Paul just was in Wrestle fucking Mania.
Yeah.
Bro, like, just think about that. He just thought that he wants to do wrestling, and he doesn't just think about it, man.
What about boxing Mike Tyson?
Bro, Mikey was there for a payday.
No, but what about thinking of that idea?
Yeah, crazy.
Because
he started boxing in 2019.
There are a lot of us who thought the homie had a chance.
Who?
No, there are a lot.
Mike had a chance.
Yeah.
Oh no.
There are a lot of people who thought, like, I watched a lot of rappers disappointed. Like,
I think if Mike Tyson could have, without contract, one last brawl, you see a different Mike. This was an orchestrated sparring match between Jake and Mike Tyson. There was bro, watch the pre-videos of Mike Tyson hitting a bag. Now, he didn't even do maybe a 3-punch combo. It was very frustrating for me. That's why I also sometimes I'm just like, you see, Jake, I like what you're doing, but then you do this cuck. You know what I mean? Just say you're having an exhibition match. Call it what it is.
Yeah.
It's cool. You'll get millions of viewers. But they were doing it for the views on Netflix, and they got an awesome deal. Congratulations to them. Great marketing once again. You know, build up this whole story. And he's playing to the time.
That's what I mean.
You know, he's playing to the time.
Even all these tech companies. You know, I was watching the story of WeWork. You know, WeWork.
Yeah.
Essentially became a cult. You know, within the enterprise. On the outside, everybody wants to be a part of it. Great marketing. You know, I think about the genius of Steve Jobs to make it inherent in the product design that it must be intuitive. Now, I'm not saying he was even a marketer by profession. I'm saying that idea to understand what people want and how to give it to them.
That's it. But like what I said, good marketing makes you want the product, even if you didn't know that you wanted the product when you first started watching the advert or seeing the campaign unfold on a radio station or however it may be, Facebook, Instagram.
Have you heard of Liquid Death?
No.
Liquid Death
is a band.
No, that's actually quite crazy because that's part of the reason. It's tinned water.
Tinned water?
Yeah, tinned water. And the way the guy sells it, he was at his peak, he was head of marketing at Uber.
Yeah.
And it's like, shit, I'm gonna start my own thing. Now he's selling tinned water. He called it Liquid Death because statistically, water is the element that contributes largest to human death on the planet. Yeah. So we're drinking Liquid Death, and I'm like, yo, that is crazy marketing. The can looks like a beer. It looks like a beer can. It's called Liquid Death, but it's water.
Have you seen that free water?
Free water? No.
Water it's just a label, and on the label they've given marketing space, and they give the water for free in the shops.
Really?
It's free water, yeah.
But it's not. Is it free?
Yeah.
Then whose label is it? What label is on the water?
It says free water, and then all the sponsors that rotate.
Oh,
and
okay.
the company makes money.
That is crazy.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That is so crazy, bro. Yeah. So yeah, man, I feel like a lot of us who are in business. It might have been a price
to it, like 10 cents or 20 cents, but I know it was a very smart marketing campaign.
One of my goals in business is to hire a marketing company. You know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like I cannot, I have a limit to the extent to which I can sell my business.
Yeah, dude, I think
as much as I know it in and out.
There's some freaks out there that are able to be the manager, be the artist, be the marketing. But I think if you really want to flourish and you just focus on what you actually want to do, and you have the team that you're confident behind you, knows who you are and how you operate, and works for you as a greater team, bro, obviously that's going to give you greater results.
Yeah.
I don't think there's anybody in the world that would turn down, like, listen, I can guarantee you 5 people that'll make your life easier.
Yeah.
Who wouldn't take that?
Nobody. Make it easier.
It is a risk, you know, because you have to outlay a little bit of capital.
Yeah.
You know, and I saw another great marketing campaign from this marketers. They said, we will sign the whole, it was a cool ad and then just the bullet points of like how it works. So they said, if you join our company, 3-month contract, after you pay us 15,000 Rand, if whatever it was, per month. And then after the 3rd month, we check the indexes to see if our marketing brought more money for you. If we didn't, that covers the cost for our marketing, we'll give you the 15K back every month that you spent with us. Yeah, how cool is that?
So marketing, the riskier the idea, the more rewarding it is.
Yeah, well, fuck, let's hope they're good at their jobs. But that's a confidence thing. And Brew, once again, I think if you come down to it, like, everybody just needs a little bit of help, especially in these times. And by having the right team behind you, it's even all these content creators. It's not just them.
You're taking me back to what I wanted to quote Andrew Tate about that I didn't get to, which is the team talk. It's like you need to have a team. You need to have people behind you who are prepared to die for the cause. Maybe not literally, but to make the sacrifices, to have the is it intuition or initiative? Yes, to have the initiative required to be in that position, because the thing is, you're never gonna beat somebody with the team when you're doing it on your own. So you're gonna have to get a team, but identifying those people, finding them, at the end of the day, man, it's all about confidence and
belief.
But I also wanted to ask you this. Okay.
Yeah, ask me quickly.
Go ahead.
Because I wanted to bring on something else.
Okay, me too.
Okay, but belief. In the first episode we've been talking about visualization or whatever, like more visualization, and I've been doing that, and I must say, my business definitely feeding it. Very blessed period, can't lie. And I was really every morning, every night.
Praise Jah.
Yeah, exactly. Hardcore visualization. So it might just be a lucky coincidence, but it might not. No, I'm just saying.
No,
I'm going to continue doing it.
It's definitely
because it's working for me.
We call that high vibrational.
Yeah. But to all the viewers, there's 12 of you out there, just for even just for 2 weeks, just before you go to bed or in the morning, just like if it's a new job, if it's success in a new endeavor, or a house that you want to purchase, or a new house you want to rent, or whatever it may be, a big decision.
Or love. Let's see if you can
envision that in your house.
If you can manifest yourself some love.
Me?
By episode 10.
No, don't worry about me,
I'm joking.
Maybe I have a lady.
I'm joking.
Ask me. You haven't seen me in so long.
It's only been a month, dog. Come on.
Yeah, I work fast.
And we talk every day.
No, I do talk. I work
We're almost
fast.
best friends now.
We are best friends.
Yeah, but I wanted to ask you, right? What is the biggest piece of news that has happened over the past month? Could be personal. It could be.
No, nothing really in my personal life is too crazy. I'm not gonna lie.
Even being short-term hobo.
Yeah, no, that's been a struggle. That's been a struggle. But the biggest news. Yes, you should have given me a little bit of a heads up when you asked this type of question on air. Because now I'm thinking.
Nothing has been big enough.
No, bro, I'm quite happy with like how the results of Man U have been.
Did you come on? Okay, I guess for Man United supporters that is quite big.
Yeah, but to push into the semis.
Did you see that one of Ernest Ruetz and Jordan Peterson?
I did watch that a little bit.
Really, I didn't get round to it.
No,
I thought I was like, yo, this guy.
No,
is he dropping an album?
It wasn't really like the one that we watched and we reviewed. It wasn't so harsh. It was also a lot more fact-driven, but once again from his point of view, from his history that he's learned and passed down through. So like,
I remember watching a clip.
Yo, I'm trying to think of
where Ernest is explaining to Jordan what the word Bantu means. I'm like, yo, this is fucking crazy.
Yeah.
Yo, dog. I was like, yo, this is fucking crazy.
I think it's very...
and Jordan now is also coming in and he's explaining to him, no, but remember when... Yo, this is fucking crazy. This is fucking crazy. 2 white people abroad telling the world African history. I was like, this is fucking crazy.
At least he wasn't he was just giving the history. It's like saying you can't give history if you're a white person. That's very racist.
No, that's not what I'm saying. I'm saying talk about what you know. It's okay to say I don't.
About Afrikaners.
Then why was he explaining the word Bantu?
Because it's like Bantu education.
Because he explained it. He explained it. He said it translates to person, and then Jordan is like, oh, so it means people. Then it's like, yeah, they are people. And then they made a joke about how inclusive it was of only black people and exclusive of everybody else. Like they aren't people. I'm like, you motherfuckers.
Yeah, that's fucked up.
This is like the wildest shit I ever heard.
Yeah, we had a lot of discussions in the month about this. Like, how is it ever going to change? It's a very tough question.
No, I feel like, man.
And I said in my last voice note, it was after Joshua, after Bishop Joshua.
Shout out to you for watching that.
Yeah, I like him. I follow him now.
Yeah.
We just got to recognize everybody as people.
Yeah.
And once we're able to do that, and once we're able to hold our opinions and think about like what our words actually mean, because it does influence. Like Julius Malema's singing the song, we spoke about it.